Michael Guess.
He is connected and ready to go. Good morning, sir. Mr. Congressman, you doing okay, sir?
I'm doing well, Paul. Good to talk to you this morning.
It's good to talk to you. I appreciate you calling me on the spur of the moment. We didn't have it scheduled, but when did you start getting some indication that there may be a little bit of a PR problem in this vote?
Well, I knew when as the vote was going to be scheduled that there would be people who didn't take time to really research what we're voting on, the facts surrounding it, and they would just look at something that somebody posted on social media that said I voted present, and they would begin to make claims that I wasn't conservative and that I was somehow voting to protect Adam Schiff and not hold him accountable. And nothing could be further from the truth. And I'm glad that you had me on for me to be able to explain why I felt like that it was necessary not only that myself, but all the Republican members of the Ethics Committee not weigh in on this matter. If you remember, Paul, this kind of began last week. There was a resolution that Ms. Luna introduced that would have done three things. It would have censored Adam Schiff, which I supported. It would have referred it to ethics, and it would have also imposed a $16 million fine. The Democrats used the procedural motion last week called a motion to table to prevent that from coming to the floor. I voted with the other Republicans, or most of the Republicans, against the procedural matter. I voted to advance that legislation. It ultimately failed last week. So Ms. Luna, over the weekend, reintroduced that resolution, and she took out the fine, but she left in the components that would both censor him and refer him to ethics. The issue that I had is that as not only as a member of the Ethics Committee, but as chairman of the Ethics Committee, we're a body that would be responsible for conducting the investigation that the resolution calls for. And if myself and other members of our committee, if we weigh in on that by voting to censor him at that point, we can expect that we would all be moved to recuse ourselves by Mr. Schiff because he has the ability to make that motion.
Well, I understand that. All right, let me ask you this. What are the alternatives, and I understand why you did it, but what would have happened if your vote was needed and a president had to be a yes vote for censure and you didn't have the votes there? Could you have changed that?
If I would have voted yes, then the Ethics Committee or then myself or any other member of the Ethics Committee that voted in favor of that, we would have been recused from conducting the investigation that the resolution called for. So, again, it's a two-part resolution. If the resolution would have been simply to censor Adam Schiff, I would have supported that wholeheartedly along with the other members of the Ethics Committee who voted present. But because the way it was worded, that both did a censorship and a referral to ethics, that created a dilemma for those of us that serve on the Ethics Committee.
All right, I understand. So now it's mandatory, so now the hearing has to just go on and be set because there will be a hearing on Adam Schiff.
Yeah, so now at this point, myself and the other Republican members will be able to participate in the ethics investigation that will now be conducted against Mr. Schiff. And so we can proceed with that second track of the motion. The first track was the censorship, which occurred last night. Now the Ethics Committee can begin an ethics investigation into Mr. Schiff, and not only myself, but the other Republican members can participate in that.
I understand.
We can advance that investigation forward.
I'm sure there would have been a lot of Democrats who wished that you guys did that so you could be recused, because when the hearing went on, there's going to be a bunch of Democrats left in there, and we know what kind of hearing that's going to be. It would be a Democrat promotional for Adam Schiff.
Yeah, well, and if all the Republicans would have voted in favor of the censorship, then there would have been no body that could have conducted the investigation. Adam Schiff would have immediately moved that all the Republicans be recused, and so the investigation would have been only conducted by the Democrats who sat on the committee, and so there would be no investigation to speak of. They would have immediately opened and then closed the investigation. And Mr. Schiff would have walked away without potentially facing any additional consequences.
Congressman Michael Guest, I'm interested, Congressman Guest, on what areas are we talking about looking into, Guest, above and beyond what was stated in the censure? or are there other things?
Well, I think that we'll begin looking at the information contained within the censorship resolution and the referral to ethics. As ethics begins that investigation, if during the course of that investigation we uncover additional things that we feel like we need to explore further, then we could expand the investigation to include other matters.
Kudos to the Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. I think he did a good job of handling that insurrection that they had on the floor, shouting and standing behind Adam Schiff. It was unseemly, it was distasteful, and actually disgusting to watch that. And the Democrats have fallen to levels that most people can't even understand.
Well, and you're right. The Democrats tried to create chaos on the floor after the resolution passed because they didn't like the outcome of the resolution. And so it was very distasteful to see their actions on the House floor late yesterday afternoon.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking some time. I'd love to get you back on later, and we'll talk about more things, but I appreciate your call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Paul. Y'all have a great day.
You got it. That is Michael Guest with an explanation, and I didn't get a chance to play this whole thing on Representative Troy Nehls. N-E-L-H-S. Is that it? N-E-H-L-S. Nehls or Nels. And he's one of the congressmen that was on the hearing yesterday in talking about Durham and the report from the live telecast yesterday. Here he goes. Let me finish this whole one.
On page 15 of your report, it says that in the summer and fall of 2016, Dolan and Danchenko traveled to Moscow in connection with a business conference. The business conference was held at the Ritz-Carlton in Moscow, which, according to the Steele reports, was allegedly the site of salacious sexual conduct on the part of Trump. Parents, if you're watching, earmuffs for your kids now, folks. Mr. Durham, was this salacious sexual conduct? What is that?
The allegation was that...
Okay, don't answer it. I will.
Okay.
Think about this, America. In the game of politics, it gets dirty and nasty. And the people will say anything to beat their opponent. But this is the government doing it. Even the director of the FBI, Comey, said it's possible Trump was with hookers peeing on each other. Christopher Steele said an infamous Trump pee tape probably exists. Alleged pee tape incident was the only sex Trump party in Russia. You want to irritate the suburban mom? 5 months before an election, tell them the Republican leading candidate is peeing on prostitutes. We are aware of the member of this committee having an alleged affair with a Chinese spy, I refer to as Yum Yum. But this is a new low for anyone, and I would hope Mr. Swalwell would agree with me. Imagine if somebody would have said and taken it this step further, Mr. Swalwell was peeing on Yum Yum.
That is absolutely incredible. And again, all of that, a setup. And that didn't work, so they go for another indictment and another. And then at the same time, you have people like Hillary Clinton that's out there free as a bird, still a tremendous power in the Democrat Party. This has been traveling around, and if you haven't heard it in a while, real quick, it doesn't last that long.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
The hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.